The night air was thick with the scent of roasted sweet potatoes and the distant hum of festival music as Naruto Uzumaki weaved through the bustling crowds of Konoha's annual cursed festival. Lanterns cast eerie, flickering shadows across the stalls, their crimson glow painting the villagers' faces in shades of blood and fire. Naruto grinned, his bright blue eyes scanning the scene with excitement. He had been looking forward to this all week, not just for the games and food, but because it was one of the rare times the village celebrated its darker legends, the tales of spirits and vengeful ghosts that lurked in the shadows of their shinobi history. But tonight, the legends felt a little too real. A cold wind sliced through the festival, extinguishing several lanterns at once. The crowd's laughter died, replaced by uneasy murmurs. Naruto's grin faltered as he felt it, a presence, heavy and suffocating, like a hand closing around his throat. His instincts screamed danger, the same way they had during battles against Akatsuki or the tailed beasts. He spun around, his orange jacket flaring as his fingers twitched toward the kunai holstered at his thigh. Then he saw it, a figure standing at the edge of the festival grounds, half shrouded in darkness. Tall, clad in tattered Uchiha robes, its face obscured by a mask carved with the clan's crest. But what sent a chill down Naruto's spine were the eyes, glowing red, the Sharingan spinning lazily, yet there was something wrong with them. The tomoe were twisted, as if corrupted, and the whites of the eyes were pitch black, like void swallowing light. "Who the hell are you?" Naruto demanded, his voice steady despite the unease coiling in his gut. The figure didn't answer. Instead, it raised a hand, and the ground beneath Naruto erupted in a surge of black flames, Amaterasu. Naruto barely had time to react, flipping backward as the fire licked at his heels. He landed in a crouch, his mind racing. An Uchiha? But Sasuke was gone, and the clan was. No time to think. The ghostly Uchiha vanished in a blur, reappearing inches from Naruto's face, a kunai aimed straight for his throat. Naruto twisted, feeling the blade graze his cheek as he countered with a roundhouse kick. His foot passed right through the figure, as if it were made of smoke. "Damn it," Naruto hissed, skidding back. Illusion? No, his senses told him this was real. The Uchiha tilted its head, then struck again, this time with a chakra-infused palm strike. Naruto crossed his arms, bracing as the impact sent him flying into a stall, splintering wood and scattering festival trinkets. Gritting his teeth, Naruto pushed himself up, his body already thrumming with Kurama's chakra. Golden energy flickered around him, his whisker marks darkening as his healing factor kicked in. "All right, pal," he growled, forming a Rasengan in his palm, the spinning sphere of chakra casting blue light across his determined face. "Let's see how you handle this." He lunged, the Rasengan humming as he aimed for the Uchiha's chest. But the ghost moved faster, its body dissolving into shadows before reforming behind Naruto. A hand clamped onto his shoulder, and suddenly, the world twisted, genjutsu. Naruto's vision swam, the festival melting away into a nightmarish landscape of blood-red skies and endless tombstones, each marked with the names of people he'd failed. He could hear their voices, accusing, screaming. "Break," Naruto roared, flooding his system with Kurama's chakra. The illusion shattered like glass, and he barely had time to duck as a barrage of shuriken embedded themselves in the ground where his head had been. The Uchiha wasn't playing around. Naruto's fists clenched. If this thing had the Sharingan, Amaterasu, and Genjutsu, it was as dangerous as Sasuke at his worst. But he wasn't the same kid who'd struggled against those techniques years ago. He was a seasoned shinobi, a hero of the Fourth War. With a burst of speed, Naruto closed the distance, feigning left before driving his fist into the Uchiha's gut, only for his hand to phase through again. The ghost smirked beneath its mask, the Sharingan swirling as it prepared another attack. Then, from the shadows, a voice cut through the tension. "Naruto, move." A flash of steel, Sasuke's sword sliced through the Uchiha's form, forcing it to solidify as it dodged. Naruto didn't waste the opening. "Sasuke. What the hell is this thing?" "An echo," Sasuke muttered, his Rinnegan scanning the enemy. "A remnant of the Uchiha's past, given form by the festival's cursed energy. It's not alive, but it's not entirely dead either." The ghost Uchiha chuckled, a sound like dry bones scraping together. "How fitting," it rasped, its voice hollow. "The last Uchiha and the Kyuubi's vessel. I'll drag you both into the abyss with me." Naruto and Sasuke exchanged a glance, no words needed. They'd fought side by side too many times to hesitate now. The battle erupted anew, Naruto's Rasengan clashing against the Uchiha's black flames while Sasuke weaved hand signs, summoning a dragon of lightning. The festival grounds became a war zone, the air crackling with energy as the two heroes fought to contain a ghost that refused to die. And somewhere in the chaos, the real question lingered: why had it appeared now? And what did it want? The night was far from over. The festival grounds were shrouded in an eerie mist, the once vibrant lanterns flickering as if drained of their light. Naruto's breath came in sharp bursts, his fists clenched as he faced the spectral figure looming before him, a ghostly Uchiha, his Sharingan burning crimson through the haze. The air crackled with tension, the scent of burnt chakra lingering like a storm about to break. Sasuke's eyes narrowed, his Rinnegan pulsing as he assessed their opponent. "This isn't just any spirit," he muttered. "That chakra. It's like Madara's, but twisted." Naruto gritted his teeth, his Kurama-enhanced cloak flaring to life in response. "Doesn't matter who it is, we're ending this now." With a burst of speed, he lunged, his fist wreathed in swirling wind chakra. The ghost Uchiha barely flinched, sidestepping with an almost lazy grace before countering with a devastating palm strike to Naruto's ribs. The impact sent him skidding backward, his shoes tearing grooves into the earth. Sasuke seized the opening, his sword flashing as he aimed for the ghost's blind spot. But the Uchiha's Sharingan predicted the move, his hand shot up, catching the blade between his fingers with unnatural precision. A smirk curled his lips as he yanked Sasuke forward, kneeing him in the gut before slamming him into the ground. Dust plumed around the impact, but Sasuke rolled with the blow, flipping backward to regain his footing. Blood trickled from his lip, but his gaze remained sharp. "He's reading us too easily," he growled. Naruto wiped his mouth, his mind racing. If their usual tactics weren't working, they'd need to adapt, fast. He exchanged a glance with Sasuke, and in that split second, a silent understanding passed between them. Naruto formed a shadow clone, the duplicate darting left while he feinted right. The ghost Uchiha's eyes flickered between them, but before he could react, Sasuke teleported behind him, his Chidori screeching to life. The ghost twisted, barely avoiding the lethal strike, but Naruto's clone seized the moment, slamming a Rasengan into his back. The force sent him crashing into a nearby stall, wood splintering under the impact. For a heartbeat, it seemed like they'd gained the upper hand, until the debris exploded outward, the ghost Uchiha emerging unscathed, his form shimmering with dark energy. "Pathetic," he sneered, raising a hand. The ground beneath them erupted in black flames, Amaterasu licking hungrily at their heels. Naruto barely managed to leap clear, his cloak singed, while Sasuke used his Rinnegan to absorb the worst of the flames. But the ghost wasn't done. His fingers wove through a series of seals, and the sky darkened as a colossal Susanoo materialized, its skeletal frame rapidly cloaking itself in spectral armor. Naruto's heart pounded. They were running out of time. "Sasuke, we need to go all out," he shouted. Sasuke nodded, his Rinnegan flaring as he summoned his own Susanoo, the purple warrior clashing against the ghosts in a deafening shockwave. Naruto channeled Kurama's power, his body enveloped in a fiery aura as he launched himself onto the Susanoo's shoulder. "Let's finish this," he roared, gathering natural energy as sage markings spread across his face. With a mighty leap, he descended like a comet, a massive Rasen shuriken forming in his palm. The ghost Uchiha met him head-on, his Susanoo sword swinging in a deadly arc. The collision lit up the night, a blinding explosion of energy tearing through the festival grounds. When the dust settled, Naruto and Sasuke stood panting, their bodies battered but unbroken. The ghost Uchiha's form flickered, cracks spreading through his spectral armor. Yet, instead of fading, he let out a hollow laugh. "You've grown strong. But it's not enough." His chakra surged violently, the very air trembling as his body began to dissolve into swirling darkness. Naruto's eyes widened. He's not dying, he's transforming. The ghost Uchiha's form twisted, elongating into something monstrous, a fusion of human and beast, his eyes now glowing with a malevolent hunger. Sasuke cursed under his breath. This fight just got a lot harder. Naruto clenched his fists, his resolve hardening. "Then we'll just have to push past our limits, again." As the monstrous Uchiha charged, the final battle began in earnest, the fate of the festival, and perhaps the village, hanging in the balance. The air crackled with residual chakra as Naruto and Sasuke stood back to back, their breaths ragged, their bodies battered from the relentless assault of the ghost Uchiha. The cursed festival grounds around them were a ruin of shattered lanterns and smoldering debris, the once vibrant celebration now a battlefield drenched in eerie moonlight. The spectral figure of the Uchiha loomed before them, its crimson Sharingan spinning with malevolent intent, its form flickering between corporeal and ethereal like a vengeful wraith. "You can't win," it hissed, its voice a chilling echo of a past long buried. "This cursed festival is my domain. Your fate was sealed the moment you stepped into it. Naruto gritted his teeth, his fingers tightening around the hilt of his kunai. He could feel the Kyuubi's chakra surging within him, a tempest of raw power, but even that wasn't enough. The ghost Uchiha was faster, stronger, and its attacks phased through their defenses like smoke. We need a new plan, he muttered to Sasuke. This guy's playing by rules we don't even understand. Sasuke's Rinnegan pulsed as he analyzed their opponent, his mind racing. He had faced Uchiha before, but this was different. This was a spirit bound by hatred, a remnant of a forgotten massacre. Its body flickers when it attacks, he realized. There's a split second where it's vulnerable, right before it solidifies to strike. Naruto's eyes widened in understanding. Then we hit it then. The ghost Uchiha lunged, its form dissolving into mist before reappearing behind them, a blade of cursed energy aimed at Sasuke's back. But this time, they were ready. Naruto vanished in a burst of speed, his Rasengan forming in his palm as he intercepted the attack, slamming the spiraling energy into the Uchiha's chest just as it materialized. The impact sent shockwaves through the air, and for the first time, the specter staggered, its form flickering wildly. Sasuke didn't hesitate, his Susanoo's skeletal arm lashed out, grabbing the ghost by the throat and slamming it into the ground. But the victory was short-lived. The ghost Uchiha's laughter echoed through the ruins as its body dissolved into black flames, reforming moments later. You think that's enough? It taunted. I am beyond pain, beyond death. Naruto felt frustration boiling inside him. They were pushing their limits, but the enemy seemed unstoppable. Then, a memory flashed in his mind, Hagoromo's words about bonds transcending even death. He turned to Sasuke, a fierce determination in his eyes. We do it together. Like always. Sasuke nodded, his Sharingan locking onto Naruto's. No words were needed. Their chakra intertwined, a brilliant fusion of blue and violet energy erupting around them. The ghost Uchiha's eyes widened as the sheer force of their combined power disrupted the cursed energy sustaining it. Impossible. It snarled, but it was too late. Naruto and Sasuke moved as one, their final attack a blinding storm of Rasengan and Chidori, amplified by the Susanoo's might. The impact shattered the festival grounds, the very fabric of the cursed realm trembling under the force. The ghost Uchiha let out a piercing scream as its form began to unravel, its hatred finally being overwritten by the unbreakable bond between Naruto and Sasuke. You fools, it whispered, its voice fading. You don't know what you've done. And then it was gone. The cursed festival's illusions dissipated, the lanterns flickering back to life as if the battle had never happened. The villagers, freed from the ghost's influence, blinked in confusion, unaware of the nightmare they'd been trapped in. Naruto collapsed to his knees, exhaustion finally catching up to him. Sasuke wasn't faring much better, his Susanoo flickering out as he dropped beside him. We did it, Naruto panted, grinning despite the pain. Sasuke smirked, though his eyes held a rare warmth. Yeah. But that thing mentioned something about consequences. The implications hung heavy in the air. The ghost Uchiha had been a remnant of a forgotten past, a wound left unhealed. Its defeat had not just saved the festival, it had altered something deeper, a shift in the balance between the living and the dead. Somewhere, in the hidden corners of the world, other lingering spirits stirred, sensing the disturbance. But for now, as dawn broke over the festival grounds, Naruto and Sasuke sat in silence, knowing that whatever came next, they would face it together. The battle had pushed them to their limits, but in that defining moment, they had proven once again that their bond was unbreakable, even against the ghosts of the past.